In today's jungle, I want to take us to Qatar, where the World Cup is happening. And 32 teams are competing for the ultimate prize of world champions. Each team features 11 people, 11 men on the field against 11 men from the opposing team. And they're duking it out. They're playing hard to win as a team. What I don't see is any individual trying to outshine the rest of the team so that he will be noticed by spectators or the powers that be, or let's say a team member, a player trying to shine so that he will get a contract elsewhere. They play as a team and they want to win as a team. How is this different? What lesson can we learn from this concept here in Africa? Now, Africans are about over 1.5 billion people around the world. Okay, about 1.3 billion on the continent and about 200 million plus living outside the continent. Those who live outside the continent, chances are they live in somebody's country and they are subjected to a lot of discrimination, internal domestic discrimination and rights abuses and everything. Fine. But the 1.3 billion that live on this continent who live on our own country, in our own countries, how do we compete with the rest of the world? When you look at the World Cup, if Brazil, who's one of the better teams, goes up against a weak team, I don't see the players from the weak team throwing their hands in the air complaining, oh, why is Brazil scoring so many goals? Why are they doing this to us? They're doing it to you because they want to win. You should compete. And if you compete your heart out and it's not enough to win, that's fine. But don't complain. But what do we do here on the continent? We constantly complain about what others are doing to us. Meanwhile, what we do to ourselves, our fellow citizens, is worse than what other people do to us. If someone comes from the West, the Western countries, comes here with the sole purpose of coming to make money, coming to get resources so that they can take it home to develop, to help their economy. That's an objective. He has an objective. Chances are, if we were in their position, we would do exactly the same thing. If we had the power and they didn't, chances are we would want to dominate them the same way they're dominating us. How do I know that? Because of the way we treat our own people inside our own countries, those who are weaker than we are. If we have power over our people, the way we leverage that power, abuse that power, subjugate the weaker ones to a life of misery. If we have these tendencies, what makes you think that if we had the power that the West has and the tables was flipped, we would not do the same thing? And so the time has come for us to quit complaining about what the other people are doing to us and hold our turf. If we had our countries at heart at every single negotiating table, even if those people have leverage over us, the impact is not going to be as bad as it is now. But when we go to these conferences, we look at our pocketbooks rather than the country as a whole. The rumors that we've seen, and these are speculations, it's not been proven. But when you hear stories that at the vote to give Qatar the hosting rights for the 2022 World Cup, folks in other developed countries sought compromises from Qatar that helps their country. But those from African countries sought compromises for their own pockets, where monies were wired to their bank account personally. Now, it's your country that sent you to that conference to go and cast a vote. But you're casting a vote for your own personal interest. I wonder how many of this goes on when we go out for conferences to negotiate on behalf of countries as a whole. And so it is established that what we do to ourselves is worse than what others do to us. So for today's jungle, I want us to look at the World Cup and how teams compete. Weak teams compete against stronger teams. They don't complain. They don't throw their hands in the air and complain, why are you scoring? You're more powerful than we are. Why are you scoring so many goals? After every goal, they go back to the center, pass the ball, and try to go and score. If we understand these concepts in this world, that's what it's all about. Nobody is going to do you any favors. You rather have to compete for the interest of your country, especially when it comes to your turf. And at this point, I'll leave you to decide whether we as Africans are competing as hard as we can in the international stage to protect our turf, the same way that the 5 countries that are representing us in the World Cup in Qatar, they are trying to win the games. This is the lesson that I want us to take as a people. On our turf, we need to compete and stop complaining. Yes, the others are trying to hurt us. Yes, the others are trying to dominate us. The same way Brazil and France would want to dominate other teams on the playing field. This is a competition, folks. This is a game. We have to play to win and not play to complain, especially when we are doing to ourselves worse things than others do to us. For today, that's the jungle.